When I was a young monk, I believed fear was my enemy. I thought enlightenment meant the complete absence of fear, a quiet mind untouched by doubt or worry. But after many years of silence, walking, listening, and observing my own heart, I learned something surprising. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your teacher. Let me tell you a story. In my early years at the monastery, I was asked to meditate alone in the forest at night. The forest was alive with sounds, rustling leaves, unseen footsteps, the cry of animals I could not name. My body was calm, but my mind was not. Fear whispered stories of danger, of what might happen. I wanted to run back to safety, but my teacher had said, "Do not escape fear, sit beside it." So I stayed. And as I watched my breath, I noticed something important. The fear was loud, but it was also temporary. It rose and it fell. Nothing chased me. Nothing harmed me. What frightened me most was not the forest, but my own imagination. This is where our journey begins. Most fears are not born from reality, but from stories we repeat in our minds. Stories about failure, rejection, loss, or not being enough. We imagine the future before it arrives, and then we suffer twice, once in our thoughts, and once if it ever truly happens. To overcome fear, the first lesson is simple, but not easy. See fear clearly, without judgment. Do not say, "I shouldn't feel this way." Instead say, "This is what fear feels like in my body right now." When you do this, fear loosens its grip. Awareness creates space, and in that space, you regain choice. The second lesson I learned came many years later. I noticed that fear often appears when we stand at the edge of growth, before a difficult conversation, before leaving a familiar job, before becoming the person we know we could be. Fear is not a sign to stop. It is often a sign that something meaningful is ahead. Imagine a doorway. Fear stands in front of it, not to block you, but to ask, "Are you ready to step forward with intention?" When you treat fear as a message rather than a command, it no longer controls you. The third lesson is one many people overlook. Fear grows in isolation. It shrinks in connection. When I finally spoke to my fellow monks about my fear in the forest, I discovered they had felt the same. The mind tells us, "You are alone in this." But this is rarely true. Speak your fears aloud, to a trusted friend, a journal, or even the quiet room of your own heart. Naming fear makes it smaller. Silence gives it power. And finally, the most important lesson of all, you do not overcome fear by eliminating it. You overcome fear by walking forward while carrying it gently. Courage is not loud. Courage is the soft decision to take one mindful step, even while your hands are shaking. Ask yourself today, what fear has been quietly deciding my life for me, and what small step could I take? Not tomorrow, not next year, but today. Breathe. Be kind to yourself. And remember, fear visits everyone, but it only stays when we refuse to listen. Thank you for sitting with me.